Well, let's move on and do this related story about the BBC drama Casualty, Lewis.
Yeah, BBC criticised of a non-binary Casualty character discussing top surgery. And it's for the show Casualty, which I've never seen. It's on the state propaganda network, the BBC. And the characters were discussing at 8:20 p.m., which is before the watershed, what they call top surgery, because it just sounds so much nicer than what's actually happening. I'm with Paul. I just think I don't even think an adult should have a right to have this done. I don't think that doctors should be allowed to do this.
You know, it's a good point, because there are certain conditions where people think, for example, they feel like they should have their arm locked off, and we don't do it because, of course, it's completely unethical. Right. So, yeah, I agree. And this clip is bizarre. I mean, the BBC are not doing themselves any favours. They've just done an interview with Andrew Tate. He sit back and said he's called them extremist in a new video today, which I found quite interesting, because this is extremist. There was this clip, I've watched the clip, and the person says, yeah, I'm going to get this double mastectomy, whatever it is. Then the other guy goes, oh, great for you. Let's have a cup of tea to celebrate. Yeah. And there's an older woman there who goes, good for you. And it's just like, is there any balance here? Is it just propaganda?
Well, that was the point I was going to make. I mean, it's not unusual for a soap opera, which this is, to take on the big stories of the day, because, you know, that's what they do. And the BBC has every right to do that. What I found really interesting about it is there was no character in there that was saying, have you given this any serious thought? There was no old-fashioned character in there who was maybe biased like we were, saying, you know what, I'm not sure this is a good idea. Have you thought this through? You know, are you able to reverse this? No, and they all just went, oh, that's a wonderful idea, let's have a cup of tea. And you're thinking, hang on a minute, there's got to be this is the wrong way to go about this. Now, I'm biased, that's what I'm trying to say. However, they could have they could have at least showed some conflict in that story. Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to admit that there are millions of people, a very high percentage of people, who believe that that if you deny someone the right for them to alter their appearance to match their gender, right? I think that's what it is. Then they will be unhappy and possibly commit suicide. This is what they believe.
Yeah.
So
the last thing on that, I just want to say, it's also a family show. It's not some like edgy late night drama. It's a family show, and it was also the acting seemed pretty wooden. It's just kind of propaganda. It's kind of ideology that they're placing into this story with a very clear message. And I'm not sure that's the BBC's role.
Luckily, nobody watches the BBC.
There is that.